Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Bill Callahan fan club president, Jake Bakoven.
I love Billy Steve.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Strick and Bob. Hold up.
Just like the Huskers are flexing in the transfer portal, we're on the Starter Heyman Jurors video stream flexing as well as we get going here. Another week of On the Block. I'm Jake Bachman. He is the Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NBA vet Erick Strickland, and we are off and running. We have Steve Sipple of Early Break, of course, with Sip and Jake here every morning, 6 to 8. He'll be joining us here about 4:25. Shootout with Strick, as always, hitting the hardwood into the next hour. So NBA talk, a lot of different things to go through. But obviously, the big news of the weekend is Husker football doing well in the portal, and it might not stop now. There's probably not at least verifiable sources, but at least there are Twitter rumors of perhaps Marcus Washington joining his old quarterback from the University of Texas and coming in with Casey Thompson and helping that receiver core as well. But the big news here is over the weekend is Stephon Wynn Jr., the backup down there at Alabama. He's got 2 years left to play, coming to play for Nebraska. And obviously, Strick, I'll start with that. Where do you see him as far as a guy that hasn't played too much at Alabama? I mean, he got in his snaps and his rotation minutes here and there. Do you think that projects onward to a starting position here at Nebraska, or do you think, with Devin Drew and Ty Robinson, I mean, it's going to be difficult to nail that down right away?
I mean, I think you can weigh it, right? Let's be real. You can weigh it. I mean, it's not like he came from Ball State. It's not like he came from Syracuse. It's not, you can weight it. And I'm going to throw a little shank in there. It's not like he came from Virginia Tech, right?
That's right.
So I know Nate's going to like that one. But he's come from a program, and it's very understandable as to why he, maybe he was just getting rotation. I mean, the kid he's 6'4", 307 pounds. He got 82 snaps in his rotation. Well, 68 in his rotation, and he also did like punts and kicks and extra points, and so he got about 82 of those. But at the end of the day, that's why I say you can weight it. The work still has to be done. You have to come in. You still have to put down and lay the gauntlet down and say, this is mine. But the door is open for it to be won. I mean, there's a lot of guys with inexperience there. This is a guy that comes from a program where there's not just a rotation, but there is a constant cycle of 5 stars, 4-star defensive linemen. I mean, they're going to have a first pick potentially at that defensive line there. So it isn't like they're a bunch of busters. I mean, they haven't been the perennial defense that they've had in the past, where there been cornerback and defensive back U and linebacker U, but they've consistently put out guys at the position on both sides of the line, both offensively and defensively, that have had some success. So at that, I mean, that's where you've got to look at. That's a positive. That's a win for the University of Nebraska. No pun intended. It's not just his name, it's a win. And so I love the fact that they were able to pull this off. I mean, it was kind of some speculation being that, two of them came in at the same time and came on a recruiting visit. But when you look at it, they needed to shore up that position, and they did it with, a 4-star guy. He was I think they said he was rated the 74th in 2018, the 74th overall player. Now, I mean, look, we understand that numbers and stars don't matter in the brink of things, but the kid played, so it's not like he was a buster or a bust, right? Yeah. And then he was the number 3 strong side defensive end in his class, so he has pedigree. He has shown that he's able to do a job, and therefore. That's a huge, shore of depth in that position that Nebraska surely needed. desperately needed. And so to land him was a great win, I think, for them.
Yeah, I think as we start to look at it here again, I look at the inside of that defensive
line.
that
kid could have went anywhere, Bach. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he could have went anywhere. So for
a lot of people are interested in Alabama.
Yeah.
And Nebraska landed 2 of them. It doesn't always, translate to the most success. We're still, again, seeing Tyreek Johnson, the Ohio State 5-star kid, looking to try to get on the field. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But I guess the point is there. The lesson learned there is that it might not happen right away. But this is a guy that's been getting snaps too. So I look for him to kind of shore up that defensive line. Like I said, I don't know if that means he's a starter though, because that's how well Nebraska's done with their defensive line. Is that Devin Drew has been a 2-year starter. He started in 2 separate years. Ty Robinson, obviously, is a staple on our defensive line, the only one that was kind of left for Nebraska. Nash Hutmacher, another guy that's kind of coming up. And so, you kind of think of those as kind of the defensive tackles for Nebraska. I don't know if you have, maybe Hutmacher kind of fills that role closer to Damian Daniels when you do have your kind of 3-4 type of formations out there. It sounds like they're going to go more to 4-3 than they have in the past, and they did quite a bit of that last year too. But in the Big Ten, obviously, you're going to have those bruisers, those big guys up the middle that are going to be able to stop the run. And Nebraska's turned around again from when you lost Casey Rogers to going, man, they just have young guys and projects, and that's not going to work in the Big Ten. To what they've been able to do is an incredible turnaround. Another talking point people have had, though, that's kind of interesting with it, is that Nebraska is now 2 over the scholarship limit. And if Marcus Washington accepts his scholarship as well, it would be 3. So we're kind of thinking maybe you might have some guys leave throughout the summer. Usually happens naturally. Maybe they don't have a plan for it. It just might, a guy leave here or there. But the other thing is, and maybe it's a probability for the future, is do what BYU's doing. Get a donor to step in there, pay the scholarship cost for a walk-on. And then you're covered. I don't know, people with NIL are kind of thinking that could be the future, and nobody's really getting mad at BYU, because how mad could you be about giving somebody on the team a scholarship? People would talk about fairness and different camps that can do this or that. I just don't think people are too. I guess most people nationally aren't too worried about it, because there's only 22 spots to fill as far as starters. So as much as Alabama is a dominant power, or Miami or whoever, USC spending all their money, even if they bought a bunch of walk-ons that were scholarship players, you could have 200 guys, you're still going to play about the same amount of guys. So I guess that's why that.
I think it's going to be pretty organic. I mean, the summer is now kicked off. School is out. Guys are going to start weighing their options. It could be that you got to think that the rotation now, that the room in itself is going to be a lot of competition in there. Whereas they were pretty tired when you were hearing about over the summer and spring game and stuff like that, you saw that there were guys that were probably a little tired and they were getting a lot of reps, and that's good for them. I think that's good that they were able to get some of those young guys a lot of reps in the spring season. But now you're going to get some guys who are seasoned that are going to come in. They're going to be able to understand what is needed and what is necessary in the on the defense. From the coordinators, and then they're going to go out there and compete, and that's what I'm excited about, the competition just all across the board. I'm looking forward to just seeing what they're going to be able to do in there. I mean, I think it's going to be an organic thing, though. When the scholarships and those, I think it's going to be a natural tail. You're going to get guys in different positions that are just going to say, "Dang, it's just not working for me. It's not a good fit for me," and they may bow out. But some may say, hey, I'm going to embrace the competition, and I'm going to fight it out, and I'm going to battle, and the best man wins. And I love that. I've always loved that. Compete, bang it out.
Yeah, it's also interesting to see, if they do have some guys leave there, if it might be, and I don't want to name names, but those guys, I'm not saying these guys are potential transfers. I'm just saying like a Marquise Black or Jalen Weaver, guys that were kind of right there, and it's like, okay, well, here's my chance because everybody's transferred, and I know I'm young, and in developing Roquan Buckley, throw him in there. Most I knew some, just guys that were looking to get a lot more playing time before these transfer portal additions. I'm sure they were probably coached about it all along, kind of saying, hey guys, we like where you're at, but you're still pretty young. It's, it's a grown man league and all that. But and hopefully they were kind of told about that. Like the goal is to get some veteran help in here, and we'll still try to rotate you guys in it when you're ready. But this isn't. Yeah, this isn't, like second grade. At a certain point, you have to go, well, we need to win games. It's not so much that we're just trying to get everybody to play. So I know they understand that realization, but I mean, when you talk about something naturally happening, the natural part of that sometimes is when you're somebody, you're recruited over. And
I believe that there was a conversation. There's no doubt. I believe that those conversations were had. I also believe that they're going to allow them to still fight. I also believe that they've probably sat down with them and showed them film, broke down film with them, showed them where there's lacking. I mean, like I could have seen many of situations in the spring game where there was breakdowns in guys were blown off the ball, not by first team guys, but by and they probably showed them some film. Hey, this can't happen, young fella. I mean, look, this is what we're asking of you. You've got to step up and fill that gap, or you've got to step up and get off that block a little bit better, because that can't happen with us. And so I'm sure they're having those conversations, and they're breaking down film, and they're showing them statistically, where there was some deficiencies at, and they're trying to really work those things out. So I'm pretty sure that those things happen.
And then the other thing I wanted to get to with you is that the Big Ten, we've been talking about different models that the Big Ten could use moving forward, with the Pac-12 eliminating divisions, the ACC and not officially doing it, but heavy whispers that they're leaning that way. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the SEC once those two, Texas and Oklahoma, the powerhouses, join in 2025. How are they going to, kind of arrange things until then? But the Big Ten's kind of left out there, looking like it's the lone team lone conference that would go with 7 team divisions. And so they're experimenting with going with something else. And then we've seen today the future schedules drop off the Husker website, drop off a couple other websites on across the Big Ten, the Big Ten website too, I believe. So it's looking like there's some movement there. What would you like to see? What would be ideal for you if they're going to eliminate divisions? Do you kind of like the Pac-12 I guess we got to give the Big 12 the model here, where they have the 2 best teams with the best winning percentages going and play. The only difference there is that the Big 12 is small enough at this point to play round robin, where the Pac-12 won't be. So, you kind of got to figure out your schedule within that model.
Yeah, I actually like the percentage model. I like that, you go out, you win games, you handle your business in conference, whoever that may be, wherever that may be. And at the end of the day, the 2 best is going to battle it out, whether it's 2 best in the East, if it's a Michigan or whatever. I think it positioned guys even better for bowl games. I think it makes it even better for them in those positions as well, to get some of the better bowl games. If you win your conferences, you step up and you handle yourself in conference, I think it can put you in a solid position to land those. So yeah, I like the percentage model. I like, hey, go out, handle your business. I don't know how soon that can happen. I would estimate within the next few years, possibly. I think they'll maybe do some teasers and some tests, in the upcoming year or two, and then, lay down the final model and see what best fits for the Big Ten. I would even be looking at, potential additions. Who could we add to make it even bolder in the Big Ten? I would be looking at all those types of options to try to figure out that, because it'll make the conference stronger.
Yeah, it is interesting if expansion kind of pops up again. It's kind of nice to let the dust settle and kind of see the teams where they're at. But of course, that's going to change with the SEC going to a super conference. You think the Big Ten, who is the most competitive with the SEC on the field and off the field as far as money goes, might want to try to keep up with them. The problem is, like, your next move is an important one, right? I mean, because that's what they did when they went back there and they added Maryland and Northwestern, or excuse me, Maryland and Rutgers. That's not the biggest additions overall compared to the SEC, which was adding Missouri and Texas A&M, or the Pac-12. So all these different schools are, you got to make the right choices. What I'm saying, and there's not a whole lot of powers out there left outside of Notre Dame.
I tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see a double clip, right? You've got to figure that Colorado's got to feel some kind of way that they haven't been able to emerge in the Pac-12 since they went over there. Maybe some competition in basketball, but their football program as a whole has suffered. I think if you can clip a Colorado, and if you can clip Missouri back, bring back the original Big Eight, couple of them, and then look to bolster yourself and hopefully their programs. I'm sure they've got to feel, especially Missouri in the SEC, just kind of just falling into the doldrums of the conference, and maybe they can feel they can compete and emerge in a better way, recruiting and all of that out of the getting into the Big Ten. I would love to see a double clip of those types of, being that they're adding Texas and they're adding Oklahoma. Well, maybe Missouri feels maybe we can jump in and get some of this good money that's over here. But maybe they still like it. They like the money that they're getting. They might still continue to like the beatings that they're getting. So I don't know. But yeah, I would think you can just add those two back and, put yourself in a good position to compete again.
Yeah, that'd be cool to take one from the SEC. That's not one that you often think of, but just because they're getting similar money to the Big Ten, so it's like maybe you're making a lateral move there. But on the field, perhaps they would see it a little bit easier. I just don't know if I don't know if I'd expect them to make the move, but obviously a lot of it comes down to what can you offer. And so maybe the Big Ten can kind of put together a package that entices Missouri there. But even then, like, that helps Nebraska fans. It helps regional games. But it's just that's what made the Texas-Oklahoma edition so jarring, was it was just kind of like, my goodness, those are powers. So it's almost like regardless of what you do, unless you get Notre Dame,
are they powers?
USC or something. Well, traditionally they are. Brand wise, they still are. And certainly Texas has struggled on the field. But
I want to throw something out here, Bach, because I've been seeing people talk about this, and I think it's something that's interesting to really think about, right? That Quinn Ewers has made the leap and he's gone back to Texas, but what you think, is he got to be feeling some kind of way? Because at the end of the day, they're lobbying hard to get Archie Manning.
Oh yeah.
So you're coming back and they're lobbying hard for an additional guy to come in a year or two after you, a year after you, and you're just now getting back, and they're throwing serious NIL looks at him to get him to Texas. And a lot of things that are being said out there is that would be a good move for him legacy wise. So how would that look, and what would that competition be? Or will we see Quinn Ewers do another jump, or will he accept the competition, which he didn't do very well up in Ohio State? Or is he going to be the NIL super jumper that just keeps jumping with the money? I just think it's just something to throw out there. 402-464-5685. What do y'all think? I mean, I've just been kind of listening and observing and checking out everything, but he's just now, they're talking about taking over the team, and they're already looking for the next guy. So,
yeah, we want to hear from you. Let us know on the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. I can't wait. I mean, Quinn Ewers is definitely penciled in as the starter there. Hudson Card, who gave Casey Thompson quite a run for his money as far as starting out there at Texas, still there. So, I mean, we could see, the veteran in that case win the battle, even though he's only played 1 year. But Quinn Ewers, certainly, I mean, he could be the next Tate Martell, who was highly recruited. Turns out probably shouldn't have been. So we'll kind of see how it turns out, but there are high expectations for him. And I think if you're at a place like Texas or USC or Oklahoma, I mean, you throw Ohio State, Oklahoma in there, Texas, they're getting a top 4 or 5 star coming in every year. So the competition cannot be something you're too afraid of. Let's take a quick break here on the block before we get to Steven Sipple of Early Break here on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll catch up with him, let him and ask him about the future of the conference. Is the Big Ten West almost dead? How about these portal additions? Is the defensive line now a strength of the team? Those sort of thing. We'll catch up with Sip on here next on the block on 93.7 The Ticket.
Let's do it. Let's get away. Let's go outside, cast a line, and reel in good times with our family and friends. Get a little peace, quiet, and relaxation, and make some memories that will last a lifetime. Let's do it. Let's fish Nebraska. Start planning your fishing trip today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
Spring has arrived. Dust off your clubs and play the city. Lincoln City Golf Courses offer 5 different places to play, including Homes, Pioneers, Highlands, Mahoney, and the Par 3 Jim Ager course. Plus, one membership gets you access to all 5 courses, or ask about a discount card that gets you 15% off all rounds. There's also adult classes with lessons for every level with Lincoln City Golf Academy. Learn more about membership and classes today at lincolncitygolf.org.
In today's day and age, people are trying to do more and more projects by themselves. That might be better on the wallet, but it can also lead to painful sounds like this. Ow! Poor guy, trying to do wiring all by himself. Let's have another listen. It's just not worth it. Don't hurt yourself or make things worse than they are already. For any of your electric needs, call Joe at Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
Hello, I'm Charlie Stone, back with the latest news from Honda of Lincoln. Joining me now is the general manager, Andy Goodyear. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Charlie.
Hey, Andy, with spring right around the corner, how is your supply of new Hondas and pre-owned vehicles?
Really good, Charlie. As I've said before, when you drive by our lot, you don't see what you're looking for, just remember we have hundreds of new Hondas arriving soon, with Honda continuing to offer 0.9% APR financing to qualified buyers. Plus, we have over 125 pre-owned vehicles in stock and ready for immediate delivery.
That's great, Andy. Any more great news?
There is, Charlie. Honda just announced financing from 0.99% APR on certified pre-owned Hondas for qualified buyers.
So come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
work, laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it, a research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and booked that vacation. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
Southeast Community College is training tomorrow's workforce today with our nearly 60 career and technical programs. We are doing our part to help employers fill vacancies during this current labor shortage, graduating students with skill sets employers are seeking. We're also helping to upskill the workforce by adding short-term credentials like certificates in many programs so that employees can get retraining quickly. Learn more about upskilling with SCC at southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Please enjoy these next few moments of relaxation from Scott and Greg at Mendoza Family Insurance. If you would like to feel this relaxed about your home, auto, business, life, or commercial property insurance, please give Scott or Greg a call today at Mendoza Family Insurance.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln, and has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block here on 93.7 The Ticket. I can see Strickland enjoying the beat as we bring it in. Also, it is Monday. At this time, we usually talk with Steven, no longer Steven M. Sipple, just Steven Sipple of Early Break. Steven, why did you take away the M on your Twitter handle?
I don't know. I mean, if you must know, the story behind that was, as a youth, like when I was a younger reporter, one day I just put it as my byline, and it actually ran in the newspaper. And my boss at the time, John Mabry, said, I don't know what you were thinking there, but now we have to run that forever now.
Really?
Stephen the Mac. Sipple.
That's the way it all happened. And now that I'm not at the Journal-Star anymore.
Yeah.
It's not like I thought, oh, this is a great opportunity just to go back to Stephen, but I don't know. It's just a change, just a little change.
Yeah, change for change's sake. I like that. It is a good story. I always thought, because authors and just maybe directors, stuff like that, it makes you sound a little bit more sophisticated. So I think maybe that was the reasoning behind your M that day.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have figured out that I'm not all that sophisticated. So maybe we just go with Stephen.
Yeah, there you go. Let's get into some Husker football talk. Obviously, a big week for Nebraska, a big weekend, I should say, with their latest addition, Stephon Wynn Jr. From Alabama. Where do you kind of project him among the new guys on the interior defensive line? With Devin Drew in there, Ty Robinson, and Nash Hutmacher. Do you think that's the kind of the formidable group that you'll see at the defensive tackle spot this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say too deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what you're bringing him in to do. The question becomes, does he become a starter? I mean, I don't know exactly. It depends on the front they're in at the time. I don't know exactly how he projects in terms of, would he be a nose in the 3-4? Don't know that. But I will say this. What I kind of hope is that he can press. Come on. He's got to press guys. That's what needs to happen. Question becomes, can he just nail down a starting job? Now he's going to be here. He's going to be here pretty quick, and he'll get that opportunity because he'll go through conditioning, summer conditioning, and then, all of camp. He'll be here long before preseason camp begins. So what I'd kind of like is to see him press for a starting job, or make it uncomfortable for guys. That's what this is about largely. And I think he has a sort of background that could do that.
Yeah, and it's interesting just with the way that they've gone about it. Would you say the defensive line might be a strength of the defense at this point in time? I know it's come a long ways from when Casey Rogers left, but I mean, they've done such a good job getting guys that have played at this level. And almost have it kind of filled for the 2 deep.
That's an interesting question. Hey, Bach, I would hesitate to go that far right now. You want to see how they pick up the defense, how they, you want to see how well they mesh with teammates, with their coaching staff, with the town, with everything, with the school part. You never know how it's all going to go. Now, I know this. I don't want to act like I don't know anything about these young men. I've talked to O'Shawn Mathis a couple times. I've talked to Devin Drew a couple times. They seem like guys to me that can come in and assimilate easily. I mean, Devin Drew, his sort of modus operandi is he puts his head down and goes to work. He's low maintenance. That's what you hope like Stephon Wynn is like. I've talked to O'Shawn Mathis enough to know that I think he has good intentions coming in here. He doesn't, he's not expecting everything to be handed to him. He's got to work. He's got to, he wants to become an NFL player. And there's a lot that goes into that, right? And there's a lot of things that go into that are helpful to a team if it's channeled correctly. And O'Shawn just seems like that type of guy. I don't know as much about Wynn. And hey, Bach, it's not like we don't know anything about those guys that came in the spring. Like you saw Tommy Hill interviewed. I interviewed him. I was impressed. I mean, I was just really impressed with some of those guys that came in. Anthony Grant, really impressed. Didn't get to know Trey Palmer as much, but I mean, he's obviously made a big impression. There's a lot of these guys that have come in here. Not every one of them. You wouldn't expect everyone to come in and assimilate easily and be happy right away. No, it hardly ever happens when you have 16 people. That's how many newcomers were in the spring. But by and large, I think it's worked out really well. It worked out well in the spring, and now there's this sort of next step, which is summer conditioning on into fall camp.
Sip, I threw out a question on the Sauter Heyman text line, man, and I'm gonna throw a two-parter at you. I really would love to hear your perspective on it. One being that we're trying to make a decision right now. We're kind of starting to see some movement, a little bit of traction in a direction similar to the ending of the divisions that have been going on out in the Pac-12 as well as in the ACC. But you know, which format would you like to see? And I also talked about possibly trying to reestablish old Big 8 competition by maybe clipping Missouri and bringing back Colorado, and talked a little bit about how that would look for the Big Ten potentially, being that there's super conferences being generated down there in the SEC. Now, also, I was intrigued by just a lot of things that I'm hearing out there about Archie Manning and just the love that he's generating out there as a 5-star. Of course, he should be. But, you know, a lot of people are speculating that Texas may be a spot for him. And I thought that was kind of wild, being that Quinn Ewers just returned from Ohio State and is now going to have to look over his shoulder at this Manning kid who has got a great family pedigree, and they're loving him already as a potential guy coming in there to Texas. So 2-part divisions. Yeah. Divisions. Yeah. I know you're a smart guy because your name is Stephen M. Sipple, so I'm gonna know you're gonna remember that. So you're very good at that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now here's the deal, Strick. I like the divisions in the Big Ten. I'm not. Listen, when I say that, doesn't mean I'm adamantly opposed to ending the divisions and going with one bulk conference. That's fine. It's not. I just like continuity. It seems like, you know, it seems like the Big Ten's starting to establish that with its divisions. And I would be in the camp that says just stay the course with it. I think, like in Nebraska's case, there's a familiarity now that's built up with the divisional opponents. There's sort of a personality in the division. Same with the East. Obviously, the East has been much stronger, and I guess that's part of the reason we're having a conversation. But I like, and I'm not talking about just being resistant to change. I think there's something to be said for that familiarity among opponents, among, you know, fan bases. I just think there's a lot to be said for that. And I like certain things to kind of stay the same. And that's one. Now, again, doesn't mean I'm adamantly opposed to going as one big group. I think there's pros and cons to everything. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, I just don't think Michigan and Ohio State are going to be amenable to it. To have the game
mm-hmm.
played in late November, and decent possibility, by the way, it would have happened in 2 of the last 4 years, that there's a rematch. And then if you expand the playoff, you play those 2 mega games and then ask those teams to come back in early December and play
mm-hmm.
again. I'd be really surprised if Michigan and Ohio State are want to do that.
Right.
Now, as far I listen to you guys' show sometimes, and I'm always struck by how you're very, and I like this. You keep a close eye on Texas, and I like that because my brother, my older brother, has 2 graduates of UT, and you know, in our family, people really pay close attention to Texas. As far as that quarterback situation goes, I don't know if Texas can pull that off. that just seems like a win, a huge win. If you can get those caliber of players in your program and have them compete for however long it lasts, that in this day and age, you don't know how long it's going to last. But if they're there for any period, it's nothing but good. And it's sort of amazing to me because of Texas's struggles that they can still recruit at that level. And in a way, it's damning too, because I always say it's strict. How can you struggle for this many years in that area? It's incredible to me. It's one of the most
oxymoron. It's an oxymoron.
Yeah. It's one of the most fascinating things in college football to me when a program like USC or Texas has sustained losing with everything available to them right in their backyard.
And Sip, I wanted to ask you this, and I know that it may be jumping up a little bit than we normally talk about it, but I noticed that the Huskers are offering discounted tickets for a 3-game mini plan. They do this every year, so it's nothing new. But it's going to bring back the kind of the conversation about sellouts, and of course they did a great job last year with the tickets that they had left over with the red carpet experience and all that. Do you envision that being another heavy talking point kind of with these discounted tickets going out there? Because just immediately when I think about it and I look at the package that they're giving out is just like, man, I don't mean to I don't mean to spoil their plans, but I'd wait till StubHub or something to get those deals, because it seems like you'd still get a better deal in the secondary market.
Yeah, you know what? Heavy conversation, Bach. I think it was at some point, but I think that the heaviness has eroded.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a heavy conversation anymore. I think people recognize the reality of not only what's happened in the program, but also just what's happening in the world, right? What's happening to athletic directors, athletic departments, what's happening all over the country, what's happening in pro sports all over the country, how difficult it is to get, to fill gigantic stadiums. And no, I don't, you know what? The heaviness, I think, has gone away. There's that residual kind of feeling. I got it today. I know exactly what you're talking about, Bach, when I read it,
Yeah.
In 1999, I never would have thought this was coming, but I think about that all the time, Bach, how much different covering college football is now compared to just 20 years ago. I say just, I mean, at my age, 20 years isn't that, it's a moment in time, and it's changed so dramatically. And that part of the conversation began to change dramatically really some time ago. Let's face it. I mean, I don't know exactly when you'd pinpoint it, but it's years. And I go back to the Riley years when people were leaving unused tickets on the pavement for you to pick up if you wanted them. I mean, so that's, and there were those stories, remember, Bach, going back to those years of the scan ticket stories, where there were times when it was announced as a sellout when there were literally 25,000 empty seats. So we're going back several years now.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Do you think that that's something that Nebraska should kind of cling on to? Because obviously they've obviously over the years, and like you said, the heaviness has kind of subsided, but have done what they can with the donors to make sure they do get those scanned tickets to be a sellout. And it's it's basically unfortunately it's like the last really impressive streak for Nebraska, but it seems to be somewhat of a farce.
No, okay. You said the critical thing there, somewhat of a farce. How much of a farce do you think it is? I'm in the camp that says it's still a sellout streak. They've sold the tickets even during dire times. And one way to look at this, Bach and Strick, is how quickly the conversation will go away if they start off 4-0 and get to, or 6-1. And maybe finish a season 8-4. Well, the conversation, how quickly that conversation will go away.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it'll dissipate into thin air very quickly, and so I kind of look at it that way, because it'll go away so fast. I use that sort of as a gauge. I mean, if they win at a pretty standard level, 8-4, we're not going to be talking about it at all.
Yeah, it's fascinating every year when it comes up. It does seem to be the same conversation, but I'm still fascinated just because it just kind of remains there, and there are disagreements among the fan base there.
Yeah.
But, Sip, thanks again for joining us today, and as always here on a Monday, he's Steven Sipple of Early Break, and you can hear him every morning from 6 to 8 p.m. And we're still waiting for that big next announcement. That's June 1st, right?
Yeah, it looks like next week is when we'll get a word on that, right?
Yeah, awesome. We'll definitely be looking forward to that. Thanks for joining us again, Sip.
All right, God bless you. Take care.
All right, there you go. Steven Sipple of Early Break here on 93.7 The Ticket, and awaiting his next big move, which we're very excited to hear what that will be. We'll take a quick break here. It is time for a Shootout with Strick edition here. I think we're going to do, since its transfer portal has been so heavy lately, I think it's going to be a transfer portal type look to Shootout with Strick. So give us a call, 402-464-5685, if you think you can beat Strick in a game show. Even if you don't think so, you can give it a shot, because it's a 50-50 chance on most of the questions anyway. And Strick has he puts up a good fight from time to time, but sometimes he'll have a bad day, and then you can just win that way. So give us a call, 402-464-5685 on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Shootout with Strick is coming up next.
Let's do it. Let's get away. Let's go outside, cast a line, and reel in good times with our family and friends. Get a little peace, quiet, and relaxation, and make some memories that will last a lifetime. Let's do it. Let's Fish Nebraska. Start planning your fishing trip today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey, it's Nelson. Have you stopped by the newest Caterpillar Vapes location? It's here in Lincoln at 2601 North 11th Street and offers you the largest selection of premium e-juice, CBD, and Delta 8 in the capital city. Let the Caterpillar Vapes team walk you through all your options and find the perfect fit for you. Lowest prices? Guaranteed. Stock up and save and experience the difference for yourself. Returning Caterpillar customers grab rewards and amazing weekly deals, and new Caterpillar customers get 50% off their entire first purchase. Come in or use the drive-thru. Find them on Facebook or visit CaterpillarVapes.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Hey, batter, batter, batter. Wings, splatter, splatter, splatter. Catch all this season's baseball action at one of your neighborhood Lincoln locations. Get League of Their Own wings, burgers, nachos, and ringers while catching all the action. Stop into Wings and Rings located on O Street in Meridian Park and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village. Or place your order online at wingsandrings.com. That's wingsandrings.com. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
At Baxter, we put you in the driver's seat with a simplified buying process, at-home test drives, hassle-free delivery, and service pickup and return. Check out all our new vehicle specials now during the Ram Make the Switch event at Baxter Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Life after college has been great, but paying off my student loans, not so great. I needed a fast way to help pay off my loans. Then I found it, a research study at Celerio. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and paid off those student loans. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at healthresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Cloudy skies and cooler conditions here for our Monday, topping out near 62. Southeast winds at around 15 to 20. Slight chance of showers late this afternoon. A little better chance of scattered showers tonight with a low of 51. An increasing chance for rain during the day tomorrow and only a high of around 55. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Erick Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game.
It is time to play the game here. The game is Shootout with Strick. Your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Nobody's called yet, so if you have been looking over the transfer portal, you know what Nebraska's added and where they came from. You're in an excellent position to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Give us a call, 402-464-5685. It's a competitive call, so the first to do so will get the chance to play Strick and a chance to win. And then the biggest thing is that you can go ahead and tell everybody that you beat a former NBA player in a shootout. Don't tell them.
It's a new week, Buck.
Yeah, it is a new week. You're starting off fresh.
Fresh, and I'm trying to get that NBA Jam moment that he's
right.
on fire. I need that. I need that this week. I need that. There's been a couple this week that kind of snuck me at the end at the buzzer. Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's a new week, baby. You got to keep shooting.
Especially you and Tom Stevens jumped in. You guys had a very that was a tough game to officiate, to be honest.
It was a no, and you guys gave it to him, man. That's all I said. But that's okay. He's new to the station again.
Yeah.
Or he's returning to the station again.
Yeah.
So I divulge and give him that.
Yeah, welcome him back there. Let's head to Corey. Corey on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Corey, how well do you know your Nebraska football transfer portal editions?
Hopefully well enough.
Yeah, well enough. That's about. I think that's where we all are. There's so many of them. It's hard to
Yeah.
keep up. But either way, thanks for calling in. We'll have Strick go first, and then we'll go to you, Corey, and see who can get this W here on a Monday. Strick, are you ready to roll? Yeah,
Let's go.
All right, there you go. All right, we'll go in 3, 2, and 1. Defensive lineman Devin Drew is transferring from Texas Tech or Northwestern.
Texas Tech.
That's right. Quarterback Chubba Purdy is transferring from Boston College or Florida State.
Florida State.
That's correct. Offensive lineman Hunter Anthony is transferring from Ohio or Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State.
Punter Brian. That's correct. Brian Brashini is transferring from North Dakota State or Montana.
Montana.
That is correct. And the most recent commit, Stephon Wynn, is transferring from where?
Roll Tide! Alabama.
Tide. That is right. You got all of your points there. So it almost seems like you've been studying pretty well. It's almost as if you do this for a living or something.
Man, I don't know, man. I think, listen, everybody thinks Stricky is just an athlete. Stricky has got a little something up. I was an academic all Big 8 when I was in school. So
academic all Big 8. Yeah. That's a big deal. That helps. That helps you in this game, I think. Corey, even though you weren't academic all Big 8, you still got a pretty good chance here. You can't miss a question, okay?
You don't know that, but you're darn right.
Yeah, you're right. You could have been academic all Big 8. I shouldn't speak about it. All right, are you ready to go?
Yep, let's try it.
All right, quarterback Omar Brown is transferring from UNI or Auburn.
Auburn.
It is actually UNI. Receiver Trey Palmer is transferring from Clemson or LSU.
LSU.
That is correct. Safety Tommy Hill is transferring from Arizona State or Arkansas?
Arizona State.
That is correct. Safety Kane Williams is transferring from Texas A&M or Alabama?
Texas. Alabama.
That is correct. And quarterback Casey Thompson is transferring from where?
Texas.
Yeah, that's an easy one. 5 points though. Ultimately, we did miss the Omar Brown question. You and I, Northern Iowa is where Omar Brown is from. But thanks
Let's
for calling.
let's see what the yeah. Hey, thanks for calling. It was great competition. Just that one. Woo.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, and Corey, by the way, go ahead and hang up now. But you still might not be the loser in this situation because Strick plays for the people. So caller number 3 right now could be Corey or anybody. 402-464-5685. We'll get $15 on behalf of Buffalo Wings and Rings. On behalf of Strick, I should say, for Buffalo
For
Wings
the people.
You want to go to the tiebreaker?
Yeah,
here?
I want to know because he was close. I thought he was going to get
Yeah.
that one. When he said that, I was like, whew.
Yeah, that was a close one. Tiebreak would be how many total tackles did TCU standout O'Shawn Mathis have last season? Defensive lineman.
95.
95. We'll see if he would have went under or over. It's actually 45, so it'd be quite a bit less. But I don't know if he would have went over or under. But I'll tell you this: that was not a good guess.
That was not a good guess.
Yeah, that did not turn out. Good thing you didn't need it. You got all your points there.
Yes.
So obviously you deserve.
Give it to me.
Shout-outs here.
Finish him. Flawless victory.
That is, even though you play for the people, you have some pretty evil ways to celebrate. It sounds like. No, we'll just let that slide.
Hey, who?
Yeah, there you go. Kind of evil.
What, the Dr. Evil?
Yeah, I think so. I was trying to figure out what his cat was named the other day for some reason. I was going through
Oh,
the
man, that's a great Sauter Heyman text line question.
Yeah.
402-464-5685. What was Dr. Evil's naked cat's name? I want to know.
He was only in a few of the movies. I think he got lost in space or something. So that's why I can't really remember it. But yeah, there were a lot of good characters in that. That was a good.
That was a classic movie, Boxster. I
Yeah.
freaking loved all of those movies. I just thought he was hilarious. Yeah, baby. I thought he was hilarious.
That's right.
He was hilarious.
And I was going to name some of those characters. I guess I can't name some of the characters.
The one that I loved was "Get in my belly." Fat bastard.
That's who I was thinking. I
love
don't think
Fat
I can say it.
Bastard.
Yeah.
He was
Well, there you
hilarious.
go. How about number 2? He was a pretty cool. And then the son, Scott Evil or whatever. That's a pretty good character.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. You're gonna make me go to Netflix tonight and just start doing a binge.
Yeah. It
I'm
wouldn't
not
be
a big Netflix guy, but one of them, Prime, Netflix. I don't know, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna do a binge tonight.
You're gonna find Austin Powers out there. All right, we'll take a quick break here on the block. When we come back, it's been a tough year for men's sports. Finished with one of the worst in percentages as far as win percentages goes in modern history. Which program do you think will get it turned around fastest? Which program is going to crash? Let us know on the Sauter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Obviously, this is between football, basketball, and baseball. Let us know what you think. Which program has the best chance to turn it around? And which program do you not have so much faith in? We'll put it that way. We'll do that next here on The Block on 93.7 The Ticket.
$93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Cloudy skies and cooler conditions here for our Monday, topping out near 62. Southeast winds at around 15 to 20. Slight chance of showers late this afternoon. A little better chance of scattered showers tonight with a low of 51. An increasing chance for rain during the day tomorrow and only a high of around 55. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln. It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Please enjoy these next few moments of relaxation from Scott and Greg at Mendoza Family Insurance. If you would like to feel this relaxed about your home, auto, business, life, or commercial property insurance, please give Scott or Greg a call today at Mendoza Family Insurance.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
At Baxter, we put you in the driver's seat with a simplified buying process, at-home test drives, hassle-free delivery, and service pickup and return. Check out all our new vehicle specials now during the Ram Make the Switch event at Baxter Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for 3. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Ortega connoisseur, Jake Bakoven.
I like Ortega, and I like pepper.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Hold up.
I'm in my zone today, baby. Coming off a dub, a victory, a win. East Street. Right here on the block with my partner, Jake Bakoven. Our sponsors, the Mercado, certified by Piedmontese. Sutter Heyman text line has been hot. We're going to jump on that in a second. A lot going on today over the weekend. NBA Finals has been jumping off. We're going to talk about it towards the end of this hour. We thank you for joining us here on the block. We're going to talk about the women coming up short. Man, got a good win over them, but then came up short. But, hey, that's all right. They fought, man. They fought. They battled. We'll talk about that towards the end of this segment as well. Hitting the hardwood. My math struggling.
Oh, yeah.
But also my Celts a little bit down right now. But that's okay because you're on the block. We thank you for joining us once again every night, Monday through Friday, right here, 4 to 6 Central Standard Time. Right now I'm in Florida, but soon and very soon I'll be there on the block with my partner, Jake Bakoven. Jake, tell me something good, man. I mean, hey, listen, I wanted to, I did throw something out there on the Sutter Heyman text line. I want to see what some of them had to say about my competition battle down there in Texas. And then we'll get into what we're going to talk about next. And that's going to be on the Sutter Heyman text line. The men's programs have been struggling. What program at this point do you think is going to have the quickest turnaround? We're going to jump into that as well. And we're going to hear from you on the Sutter Heyman text line. We'll probably take a call as well on the Honda Lincoln hotline. We definitely want to hear a couple of opinions and your thoughts on that, because I have opinions and Jake has opinions, and I like Pepper and I like Ortega. So we're going to talk about those things right now. What happened on the Sutter Heyman text line about my Quinn Ewers competition, and who do they think would win that battle?
Well, we got more response on the cat's name from Austin.
Okay. Well, let's take that one.
I think about 6 people filled in.
Biggers,
Mr. Bigglesworth.
Okay, I knew it was something like that. I thought it was Mr. Biggers or something, but I knew it was something with a B. I just couldn't. Mr. Bigglesworth. Yeah,
that's a good name for a cat. I forgot about that.
But that was the ugliest cat on earth. I don't know. I don't think I could wake up in the morning looking at that cat looking at me. I think it would scare the bejeez out of me, bro.
You don't like those?
No.
Those
those skin. Listen.
Oh yeah, you can't really pet them.
It is a delicacy to some people. That's what it would look like to me. It looks like would try to eat that thing.
He's about halfway ready to get cooked.
He's like right there on the verge, and I'm just like, oh, no, I can't. How would I pet that thing? It's like, what would it feel like? I would
yeah.
I'm
I'm actually allergic to cats, so I think that's the only cat option I have. So maybe someday I'll get one.
Oh, you're allergic, so you're hyper. You if you was to get a dog, it'd have to be hyperallergenic.
The dogs are fine. It's just the cats.
Oh, just the cats.
Okay. Yeah, getting cat hair usually gets to me. I start wiping my eyes and sneezing, and nose starts running. It's quite an experience. More so than seasonal allergies can get the worst. Cats are the worst for me. So I'd get Mr. Bigglesworth. I think that's a good idea. Also, at the text line, we can run through some of the responses for which program is going to turn around. We've got a few of those. If you want to. Gene in Lincoln says, baseball just had a down year and they don't need to turn anything around. I've continued faith for the same reason in football, so I'll pick them as the turnaround team. I have zero faith in basketball. They will not turn it around. There's not even been any signs that they will turn it around. Okay, so Gene is he's made up his mind on and basketball at least. Jory says Nebraska baseball will right the ship near the top of the conference. Football will go bowling at 8-4, and Fred Hoiberg will be unemployed come 2023. Blanket says Fred has rebuilt roster every year in Lincoln and couldn't win with a genuine one and done. Frost is clearly desperate and feels like he has a better chance to win with players from other programs than the ones who have been in his for the last 4 years. Bold is 1 year removed from a conference championship. I'll take baseball. So similar response.
Yeah, it's looking like baseball.
Yeah, let us know more again on the Starting Main text line 402-464-5685.
So Box listen, I've been very hard on the men all year. I think I've come down pretty tough on them as far as my feelings are concerned, and probably have held back some of my feelings because I've been very disappointed. And I've had you see I represent. I'm not necessarily. Yeah. I'm not in Nebraska. I'm not in Big Red country, and I still represent because I am Big Red to the core. I had thoughts and dreams of being a J-sker. And I think I think in that dream I almost committed suicide. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm not speaking of that. But I think in my dream, I think I maybe jumped off of something because
you couldn't be great.
I just couldn't. I don't think I could do it. But I do support all things Nebraska. I'm down for Hastings. I'm down for Creighton. I'm down for UNO. I'm down anything Huskers except when they're playing Huskers. I think that's how I'm rolling. But at the end of the day, man, I've been very hard on the men's programs. I've been kudos, claps, and just celebration for the women's programs and what they've been doing. They've been the one holding the mantle and keeping it alive. So, Bach, I throw it to you now, man. Who do you think is going to be the turnaround team?
Yeah, I think the best response, the response that we got is kind of the feeling that I kind of have is maybe we're a little too early on elevating Will Bolt's name up there with Dave Van Horn of Nebraska baseball legacy as we go. But he hasn't had a whole lot of time in Nebraska as far as the head manager goes, and he's already won a Big Ten title. So you feel pretty good. Obviously, things didn't go the way that you wanted this year. You can have down stretches. They've had pretty much a down season this year in Nebraska baseball, but they're loading up on a lot of JUCOs, and you feel like that can get righted pretty quickly. So it's you're just not at the basically with that spot is you're just not at the position where you are going to lower their contract and lower the buyout for the upcoming year, right? Will Bolt's not going to have that happen. So I think that's where the most amount of faith probably is. But I'd have to agree with kind of what the other people are thinking too, is that if I had to list it, I think football would be second on there. I don't have a high degree of Scott Frost himself kind of turning this around, but now as he's taking on the CEO role, you have to credit him for all these moves that he's made in the offseason. I thought he's done that a lot throughout his career here, maybe with the addition of Mark Whipple and Joseph and Raiola and all those guys at Applewhite. They can kind of get this thing figured out. It's a lot of Band-Aids right now rather than long-term solutions roster-wise, but you got to give them credit for the way that they've completely turned the roster into something that has a pass rush. I mean, the defensive line looks pretty solid. You've got a couple options at quarterback there. Running backs and wide receivers are new. A little bit worried about the offensive line still, but I think if you're doing that order, that's where I would land. And then, Hoiberg last, just because it's, I was kind of thinking about this the other day and kind of which player you would kind of has played throughout these eras, but there's been like an era from like every season is like a different era for Fred Hoiberg. It's like, all right, there's Cam Mack and Deshaun Burke and those guys, and then it was Delano Banton and Teddy Allen and those guys, and then it was Bryce McGowan's and Alonzo Verge and those guys. Now you're just on the next thing, and just every step of the way has been unsuccessful, and now they're kind of at this point of and I like some of the players that they have coming back, so don't get me wrong here, but they don't have a face of the program like they have in previous years, somebody that you put a lot of hopes in. And so while maybe that is ultimately a better solution and something that, the realization that we're not going to get by on talent alone, we got to, coach this team up and work hard on the defensive end, which they brought in a defensive coach there. There's some good signs there, but I think if you're looking at between which programs, who has the bleakest opportunity to turn this thing around, I think Husker basketball kind of feels that way right now.
Oh, the Sauterhaven text line is open. We definitely still want to hear from you. We also would love to take a caller if you call in at the Honda Lincoln hotline. Both numbers work the same, 402-464-5685. Me personally, I think there's just a lot of uncertainty, especially. So if I can grade it on a scale, I think the major uncertainty for me is definitely at the basketball level. Really not having a strong piece to weigh on, to count on, to believe in. You've had consistency. Probably the only one has been out of Derek Walker that you can say there's been some consistency there, seen some sparks. But can you really rely on anything for certain? No. And so I would venture to say that would probably be my third as well. I think I have a 1A, 1B. I just actually love if he continues to stay in this mode of just staying out of his own way and not tripping on his own feet with Scott. I think that the things that he's done, it's going to be a thing for me, what I see in the Northwestern game. It's really going to help me to kind of, say one way or the other, although that's not the game to say it. I think it's just going to set the tone in my mental as to what's there. And then once they get into the Oklahoma, and they've got to take care of, if they handle Northwestern and take care of, North Dakota, the North Dakota situation, and just that whole 2-game stretch. Remember in the days whenever Nebraska used to really handle business in those games, 60-40, 8-7. If I can see their defense handling business there and showing discipline and their special teams are coming alive. If I see some stuff like that, then maybe I can have a little bit more confidence that they can have a stretch run early. But I would say baseball too, man. I think baseball for me, there's so many things that can happen in a baseball season. You're pitching, you can lose a pitcher. Something happens early in the season where you don't have your rotations down. Your hitting's just off, your timing's off. It's all these different things that can happen. But I think they're trying to, they have the best opportunity for me to get a turnaround in the Big Ten. And so I think I'd also look at baseball.
Well, it's interesting, too, because I was talking with Nate about it earlier, is that it seemed like this whole thing is just infectious from every team, right? I mean, they all started off on the wrong foot, and then they were never able to correct that path, and it just, the losing kind of just like stacked up on itself. And it
was just always this thing, too, Buck, where what you just said, it's like you're waiting for the situation to happen. You're waiting for the turnover to happen. You're waiting for the intercept. You're waiting for the rebound kick out for the three. It's like they've got to run. They're up 10. So I understand what you're saying there, because it's just like when is it going to happen? The Iowa game, I just sat there, Bach, and I was looking at it just like, okay, we're doing good. When is it going to happen? And it did happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For the football team, especially. But, in the basketball team, for what it's worth, they finished strong in the regular season. The baseball team at least won their games that they needed to in this final regular season. So, I mean, but, so it's kind of like juxtaposing that feeling of like never being able to correct the original problem compared to the fact that none of these teams, gave up on their coaches, or it's not like the coach lost the program. They were fighting till the end. They were all, close games. We all know about close with the football team. So I think that's why there is this element of hope for each of the programs, is that, while they, an effort can only go so far, it's not going to help you keep your job at this level as a college coach, at least at Nebraska. But it does speak volumes to why those people are still in place, and maybe some of it, as we know, might have come down to contracts as they cut away some of those for Hoiberg and Frost. But the other part of that is if Frost or Hoiberg had lost the team, like it was just gone, and half their you could just see people weren't playing for their coach, and they kind of have the give up mentality. Nebraska might have to bite the bullet and just pay that large sum that they would have had to, as opposed to, taking a roll of the dice with them because they were still putting in the effort and getting better and working on that, all along, even though it wasn't equating to wins. But that's just an interesting thought I had there. Really quickly want to go to Chance here on the La Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. Chance, how you doing? Still there, Chance? It looks like we've lost Chance.
I want to hear from Chance.
Chance, if you're out there, give us a call back. Maybe he had a little bit of stage right there. I think he's calling back in, but we'll see. That's probably him. We just try. Is this Chance?
Yeah.
All right, very cool. You're live on air with us here. What are your thoughts?
I was telling the guy that answered the phone that I don't have any hope for any of the men's teams. I just don't, because of the way it's gone. I was asking him if we had a spike ball team or a cornhole team.
I think we might. I mean, there's some. I think gymnastics is doing well, and bowling.
But I think the basketball team is in the worst shape. I kind of agree with what Strick said. The basketball team, I think the two that could do something are the football team and the baseball team.
Yeah.
And with the NLI or whatever that is they call it with the money.
Yeah, NIL.
The offensive line needs to get a deal with Reynolds so they can put wax paper on the bench so their candy butts don't get stuck to it. That's all I got.
Got some clever ideas there on a Chance. I like that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That is interesting, though. The NIL money toward the offensive line. I mean, because you wonder how much, again, how well they've done cleaning up this defensive line room, I think we'd be lying to ourselves. So we don't think the NIL probably had something to play in, but I don't know if it was able, part of this is opportunity. A lot of these guys see the chance to play, like a Stephon Wynn who's been sitting on the bench trying his hardest to get into the game. He sees this as an opportunity to play. But maybe for like O'Shawn Mathis and Devin Drew, it's more, they've been playing. So maybe the NIL does come in a little bit there. How big of a factor do you think that is? Do you think that Nebraska, it's hard to comment on it too much when you don't know the numbers or whatever, but it feels like Nebraska's done a great job of patching up a lot of these holes. But as Chance was saying, as other people have said before, how much does it matter if the offensive line doesn't get corrected? And of course, they did get Hunter Anthony, they get Kevin Williams Jr., but those aren't seen as quite as high impact guys as some of the other holes that they've filled.
Well, for me, more so than anything, I want to look at what does NIL money look like for the baseball team. That's just something I would like to throw. I mean, like where could you see it going, or where could you see it coming from? Is that something that they can look to, being that the program as a whole has been pretty strong, but is it just solely been in football? Is basketball tapping in on it? To what level? Is that why maybe Bryce left? It wasn't popping on. I mean, I'm just speculating. Again, I don't know. I mean, we don't know what's out there, but it would behoove me to wonder, what does the NIL money look like for for baseball? Is it there where you can land a heavy 4-hole guy, a 3-hole guy, a base stealing guy that you can throw it out to him, and maybe what a speedway or some form of NIL deal there, a guy that has high base stealing numbers, because the running game means something in baseball. I mean, you can move guys along the bases and get base stealing numbers that are high, put guys in running position, then you're bunting and you're moving them into that's a run that can be set, so I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. What do you think?
It's fascinating because baseball's always had that recruiting problem to begin with, where if you recruit too well, you're not going to get any of your players, right? They're all going to go to the minor leagues, and if they get drafted too high. So you got to kind of find that middle ground. And I do wonder, like a place like a Vanderbilt, where maybe you don't have too much success in some of the other sports, but you're a baseball powerhouse. Is that where their NIL money is going? That is fascinating, because you don't hear too much about that or think too much about that here at Nebraska. Obviously, football is king, and then basketball. We've seen it. There's rumors out there of Sheboy over there at Kentucky, the National Player of the Year. Rolling in quite a bit of dough, and as you would think at a place like Kentucky, where basketball is most important. So it's not just, that's what I've always been fascinated by college athletics as opposed to pros. And pros are interesting in their own right, but there's just multiple teams to kind of worry about in this new world. And usually as a fan, it's just like cheer for it in each season. But in this new world of NIL is how much do you, if you've got a collective, for example, and you've got that certain amount of money, how much of that is divvying it off into the different programs, and are there separate collectives for different sports and stuff like that? Because it goes on down the more that you follow it. Volleyball at Nebraska seems to be
right.
Keep it rolling. So
you know what I mean? Those are just things I wonder. Like, how is it? How those are the back end workings. That's similar to like a movie, right? The only thing we see on a movie is I'm going to watch Top Gun. I'm an 80s kid, and I love Top Gun, so I'm gonna watch it just because I want to understand what the sequel is. But I don't get to see what's on the back end. I know Tom Cruise is not flying a F-18 Hornet, Super Hornet. I know that, but how is it working on the back end? What type of simulators are they in? But that's the way I think about this NIL situation. I'm like, we don't get to see and understand how the things are divvied up, or how they're put together, or where is it going to, or to whom it's going to on that back end. And, it's just something interesting that, boy, if I could be like a fly on the wall, I would love to kind of listen in and see how that's working.
Let's jump to the Starter Heyman text line. We got a few texts in here. Gus says football would be my guess to improve. I think it would be easier to double their win total than the other sports. So hoops are a lost cause. He even throws in there. Wilmot says winning is infectious. I think whichever one starts to believe in themselves the most will turn it around. And yeah, that's kind of what I was kind of thinking with the fact that it was kind of the opposite way, where losing was infectious, and those teams seem to have more talent, more ability than what the win total would say, but they just couldn't get it turned around. So that's kind of interesting.
Let me throw this out here before you take the next one. I want to throw this out here. If there was a Stricky type, a Badgett type, and throw in a Woolridge, or if that was something that came to the Husker program, if that was a cycle, would that change the mind of maybe the way you view the program, or would you just kind of still see it the same way as it is what it is? It's a lost cause. Like, what would change? I really would like to understand, because I understand what you saw. You know, I watched what you saw, and I can understand how you feel the way you feel about it. But in your minds, on the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685, like, would something like that, like if a Stricky was, you know, coming out of Bellevue West again, and you saw that in state, or a couple like me, Badge, and maybe a Woolridge kind of came around what is it? Come around the mountain when she comes.
Yeah, there you go.
Would that be something that would kind of invigorate it, or give you a little bit of possibility again, or even a Pike, Stricky, and a Badgett? You know, would that be something that would enlighten you? Just throwing it out there.
I think for most people, just, you know, it has to be start to win, because I know there are a lot of people that just don't even follow.
So it's not the personnel. It's not because if we've gotten past that, that's what you're saying. So it's not necessarily the personnel. It's basically showing improvement.
Well, and that's where I'm at now. Before I would have told you, 5 stars or NBA players. Well, now that they've done that, you know, it's hard to believe in. I just think it's getting too much to believe in a program savior at this point, unless it's a head coach.
Got you.
Because it's not just one guy that's going to turn it around. It's tough. You need a lot, especially when you're in the Big Ten, to get it that way. And again, I don't think Nebraska basketball fans that are there ask for much. For myself, I mean, for all of us, you know, since you guys in the 90s, and then Teron Lue and Vincent Hamilton and Cookie Belcher and those guys in the late 90s, you know, since then, you've had one tournament appearance as an 11 seed, and we all act like that was the greatest team ever when it wasn't. It was an 11 seed, but it was, you know, it was solid for what we've seen over the years. And I think that's kind of interesting for what this team is coming up, which feels more Nebraska basketball. I don't know if that's good or bad. Probably not great that you don't have a headliner in some ways, but in other ways, it's like, well, it's going to be nice not to have expectations. And maybe through that, you know, these guys don't get in their minds so much. And so a solid victory can, you know, propel them to think that they're doing well, instead of, oh, this is where we should have been the whole time. You know, I don't know. I just think it's going to be a very different feel. And what we're seeing off the text line, not a lot of belief in this Nebraska basketball season coming upward as far as the personnel that they have now. And I don't expect it to change too much. So that's
interesting. I'm just in my mind, just kind of plays tricks on me, like the Ghetto Boys. But nonetheless, we've got to take a break right now here on the block. We'll be right back. We'll talk a little bit of hitting hardwood with Strick and Bach here on the block. 93.7 The Ticket FM, theticketfm.com. We'll be right back after these messages.
Southeast Community College is training tomorrow's workforce today with our nearly 60 career and technical programs. We are doing our part to help employers fill vacancies during this current labor shortage, graduating students with skill sets employers are seeking. We're also helping to upskill the workforce by adding short-term credentials like certificates in many programs so that employees can get retraining quickly. Learn more about upskilling with SCC at southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Spring has arrived. Dust off your clubs and play the city. Lincoln City Golf Courses offer 5 different places to play, including Homes, Pioneers, Highlands, Mahoney, and the par 3 Jim Ager course. Plus, one membership gets you access to all 5 courses, or ask about a discount card that gets you 15% off all rounds. There's also adult classes with lessons for every level with Lincoln City Golf Academy. Learn more about membership and classes today at lincolncitygolf.org.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Tune in every Monday morning throughout the summer at 6:45 a.m. for golf course reviews on the Nebraska Golf Passport Early Break Golf Tour with Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Cloudy skies and cooler conditions here for our Monday, topping out near 62. Southeast winds at around 15 to 20. Slight chance of showers late this afternoon. A little better chance of scattered showers tonight with a low of 51. An increasing chance for rain during the day tomorrow and only a high of around 55. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Another packed summer sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. Stop by for great deals on May's Beer of the Month for Boulevard Brewing, Tallgrass Brewing, and Glacial Till Ciders. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
At Baxter, we put you in the driver's seat with a simplified buying process, at-home test drives, hassle-free delivery, and service pickup and return. Check out all our new vehicle specials now during the Ram Make the Switch event at Baxter Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Hey, it's Nelson. Isn't it a great feeling when a company has your budget in mind instead of trying to squeeze it all out of you? That's why Caterpillar Vapes has been voted a fan favorite among premium e-juice, CBD, and Delta 8 customers year after year. And now they're here in Lincoln. Returning customers are always enjoying weekly deals and perks, and new Caterpillar Vapes customers get 50% off their entire first purchase. A company that cares about their customers. Crazy, right? In a hurry? Try the drive-thru. Caterpillar Vapes, 2601 North 11th Street, and online at caterpillarvapes.com.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln. It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back on the block with Strick and Bach. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. The Starter Heyman text line has been hot. I've just been throwing crazy stuff that's been popping into my head. I'm hoping you're not like, what's going on with Stricky? It's not Thirsty Thursday yet. maybe is he all right? Maybe I need to pop open one and have a drink. All this moving and stuff, a lot on the brain, and it's just been tabulating all kinds of craziness that's been going on in my head. But what you got, man? Is there anything on the Starter Heyman text line?
Yeah, first let's head to YouTube. Obviously, you can see us on YouTube, the Starter Heyman video stream. Naturalborn Skur says, my question is, why hasn't more time been spent on finding better O-line for football? They have done great on trying to plug all the other holes. So still concerned about that offensive line. I think it's and I want to ask Brian Munson this tomorrow as we have him on the Ticket Water Cooler. I think that there just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of high value offensive linemen in the portal. It might be one of the reasons why. They, for what it's worth, they grabbed Kevin Williams Jr. They got the transfer from Oklahoma State and Hunter Anthony. So they've got a few guys there. They just don't seem like home runs as far as like some of these other, guys go. But we'll see.
When we're going to get back to the pipeline. Remember the pipeline when we used to just see Zadiskas and Weekert and Raiolas and they were just mashing people. When are we going to get back to the pipeline?
I don't want to we don't even need the pipeline. Just like one of those guys would be quite helpful. I guess Cam Jurgens is probably.
Cam Jurgens broke through. Yeah. But that is, that's going to be an interesting thing because the center position's importance in making sure the calls and, the shifts and, the different blocking schemes that they're going to implement based on the line front. All that stuff's important. Like, who's going to do that replacement? How is it going to handle that? So you're right, man. I think it's an important thing, having a few or one of those. But hey, I digress. I'm going to shut up because we got to get to it.
Yeah. Well, then the other thing too is I think that Casey Thompson is going to be a better passer than Adrian, but I don't know if he's going to handle pressure quite as good because he's not as big. From the tape I saw, it seems like if you kind of collapse on him, he'll go down pretty easy. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. So I think that's a good point to bring up. Quickly, we'll run through these so we can kind of get to our next subject, though. Dusty says we're 9-3. We're 9-3 on paper, recruiting every year, and it ain't getting done. So maybe still thinking twice about the recruiting wins for Nebraska. He's right. We always win the offseason. We always hype him up, but as well we should. There's nothing else to do. So at least you get excited for him. Jory says the basketball team has no identity. I couldn't tell what kind of anything they were trying to do. So no from him. Gus said the basketball product is so bad I would take years of solid recruiting to bring it back to at least 500. So again, there's not a high belief of what's going on in basketball. To your question here, somebody texts in says, I think the best thing is to own Creighton. We need to get some of those Omaha kids here to Lincoln. All these kids who come to Nebraska don't care about Nebraska, as I feel, for example, transfers there. So that's kind of interesting. Somebody labeled Nebraska ball fan, so they've got to be optimism, right? He said, I'm excited to see what the basketball team is going to do this year with a hometown kid coming back playing the point guard and having a couple guys on there that are high-level defenders. So there is a little bit of optimism out there in the text.
Some, more not than some.
More not, but at least somebody's excited. And CJ says, forget the portal, recruit and develop, do better. So a lot of different thoughts.
Good stuff. Thank you guys for tapping in on the Sauter Heyman text line as well as when you called in on the Honda Lincoln High. We always love to hear from you. Thank you as well. And as you're watching on the streams as well as tapping in there, we just love to hear from you because we can get in our own silos of our own thinking and our own mind. And at the end of the day, we still want to hear how you observe and perceive it. So nonetheless, hey, hitting the hardwood with Strick, we're here. We're going to talk about what happened over the weekend. We have Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics at 1-1 in their series, but we're going to talk about what happened on last night. The Mavs are down 3-0, and we know what that record is for those who have been down 3-0. It doesn't happen. So at this point, it looks like the Golden State Warriors don't want to give up their dynasty as of yet. They feel that they've got the pieces. They feel that they've got the system. They feel that they're playing their best ball at the right time, and they're doing damage. I mean, I look at it, Bach, as the scheme that they're playing, they're not giving Doncic an opportunity at all. And they're doing the same thing. And they're basically showing high with Stephen Curry, and he stays just long enough. They're going to make him give up the ball. But it's like they're not finding that role guy. They're not finding that role guy. And then when they are finding the guys in the corner, they're not getting consistent production. It's not like they haven't seen production because we saw what the Mavs did in their previous series. But when you have numbers from Reggie Bullock at 0 for 10, 0 for 7 from 3, you can't win because that's the shot that they're basically saying you're going to have to live with. Then you having the inconsistency from Dorian Finney-Smith. You have to have one of those two guys hitting buckets, period, to have some success. 9 points there. Your center is giving you nothing out of Dwight Powell. Jalen Brunson has been consistent some, but you know that's not the reliability that want to rely on totally. And Maxi Kleber goes 0 for 5. And then Dinwiddie steps up. But at the end of the day, the shot that you're getting when it means something and it has to happen, you're not getting it and you lose by 9. And if he hits any one of those shots, this game can change. Well, on the other end, they got nothing. See, this is what makes Golden State good for me, Bach, is on this other side, Jordan Poole has been a beast for them throughout the playoffs. He plays almost 30 minutes, 28 minutes in this last game. He's only 2 for 4, and they still win. So you've got Andrew Wiggins, who's not only having to defend one of the best players on the court in Luka Doncic, but then he goes out and gets you 27 on top of that, and then makes a poster of Doncic, which was a crazy offensive call on that one. You're getting what you get out of Draymond Green. That's something. Kevon Looney, one game kills you, and then he only gets 10 points. See, that's what I'm saying. Then Otto Porter kills you one game, and then he's a no-show. But that's the thing they're getting, is they're getting consistency from all across the board where the Mavericks is not. And that's why you're seeing a 3-0 lead. That's my perspective.
And in my mind, they've got a solid crew around Doncic, but not a Western Conference final crew around him. I think there's a lot of guys that at that level probably are playing up a role as what would normally happen. And that just speaks to how good Luka's been. Because, he is incredible to watch as he's like putting up numbers at a young age. We do this with everybody and talk about how old they are. But at 23, he's really incredible in his playoff history so far. And it's really tough to get him out as we're seeing. But just like an offer from Reggie Bullock. You just can't have that happen. There was a wide open 3 at one point in the game where that would really, kind of take it from 9 to 6 or something late in that game. And then the Warriors are just so good. If you miss something, they'll put you to bed quickly because they can hit 2 threes on the next 2 possessions. The other thing about the Warriors that makes them so good too is their free throw shooting. Is you just can't, if they have a lead on you late and you're trying to foul them to get back in the game, good luck. Because Jordan Poole's the league leader in NBA, free throw shooting, and then your other options are Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. You're gonna have to foul one of those guys, and you're just not gonna make a comeback.
And Buck, that's one point that before we cross over to the next game, that's another point that I want to make is that what you just said and how important that is as far as the team that the Mavericks are. They're better with a lead. Their style of play of one and what happens is Luka gets to overhandling, and their style is good for a lead. It's not good for coming from behind. And that's where I think they found themselves in trouble because they're still playing a style in which they're not able to be effective except from a lead, especially when you're not hitting shots.
Do you think if Luka does get that, the big teammate, the void of having that number 2, Jalen, like I said, guys can kind of slide into their other roles. I don't know if Brunson will be back or whatever because he's going to get the bag. He's going to get the bag. Dinwiddie or whatever, Maxi Kleber. These guys can slide into the roles that make a little bit more sense. Do you think that they can, that they're going to be as effective with Luka not playing such ball-dominant basketball? Do you think that he can fit in better, or is he kind of like a James Harden that we've kind of seen that if you kind of take, put him into normal offense, he's not going to put up the same numbers. He's not as dominant.
I think that's where their inefficiency is. And I think that's why the game plan for the Golden State Warriors have been absolutely perfect. They're not in any form, shape, or fashion allowing Steph Curry to be on him. That's what the Mavs are trying to do, and they're not giving in. Then they're throwing the zone at you. And then they're finding those shots, but they're not hitting. So it's like they're going to stick with the game plan. The game plan is not going to change until you do something to change it. Now you're down 3-0, so you're in trouble. So that's what I see. On the other side of things, the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat face off tonight, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on ABC. And it's a game 3. Both of those first games, we found them in Miami. It's a 1-1 tie. Who is going to emerge and take control of this series as they go back to the jungle where the Celtics, let me refrain from that. They're going back to Miami.
Well, they're in Boston. They've actually it's 2-1. Miami's up 2-1 actually because they.
It's 2-1. That's right. So it's game 4. So there we go. So this game is actually in Boston. Oh yeah, that's right. Because my sister was there. That's crazy. Eastrick is just I'm losing. My sister was at the game last night. I'm like, dang, yeah, they were in Boston. Okay, but so yeah, it's a 2-1 lead. Boston has to basically. They can't have Tatum play the way that Tatum played. What was big for Miami, Bach, was Bam Adebayo got real aggressive. And he had a 30-piece with 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. That came out of the woodwork, especially with not having Jimmy Butler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that was phenomenal that showed up as to why they were able to get the job done was Victor Oladipo's defense, not just on Tatum, but very important on Jaylen Brown. Their starting 5, Bach, had 22 turnovers in a conference finals game. There's no way you can win if you have that happen. And I think that's where their problems were, is that they were just turning the ball over left and right and just fell off the wagon.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this series just seems to be a lot about attrition and who do you have from game to game. We saw Kyle Lowry jump back in the rotation. I think that was a positive impact. And then, Tyler Hero's out for a portion of that game. He's out for tonight. Jimmy Butler's out for the second half of that game. The Celtics are doing the same thing. Robert Williams is out here and there. Marcus Smart is out for a portion of that game. I can't believe he came back into that game after
that ankle. Yes.
Yeah. And then had Bam roll on it. I mean, it was just like, there's no way I'd walk for like the next 3 weeks.
I've had that injury, Bach. I've had that.
Yeah.
And that second-degree ankle sprain, it stretches ligaments. And Boston's got to have the greatest sports training crew on earth to be able, or the technology is just way beyond its years from what I was playing, because there's no way I would have returned. And he wears low tops. So it's not like he has high tops to where it would have. Man, go ahead, Bob.
It was just as bad as you can get, because with his athleticism, he was going for a putback, and so it was a high volume jump. A lot of athleticism that went into it. So I don't know how he came back, but he's getting beat up every game. I don't know what the toll is going to be totally on him if he can keep playing. So we'll have to see. But ultimately, like you said, Tatum is he a superstar? We kind of get to that question: is he a star or is he a superstar? And then at times when he's hot, we go, well, he's made it. He's a superstar, but he always has one of these games every once in a while, and that's what makes almost everybody does. Like Chris Paul has a game where he disappears. Everybody's got these games. That's what makes the superstars phenomenal, is that they don't disappear there. So he's still kind of working on that transition. And you're absolutely right. The biggest thing that stood out to me is Victor Oladipo just stole that game. Max Strus, for what it's worth, hit the buried him with the three. So they've got
PJ Tucker's been big too.
Yeah. But Oladipo's been really, Jaylen Brown did put up like 30 or something in that game. But he swiped him he had to swipe him like 4 or 5 times. And both games that Miami's won, there's been, those 3 or 4 minutes where they're just swiping everything that Boston has, to come out with them. So we'll see if that defense sticks up tonight. Boston has played very well with their backs against the wall in the playoffs. Their backs are against the wall again tonight. They can't go down 3-1. And then, they'd have to win the next 3.
Jason Tatum cannot have a game tonight the way that he played on last night and expect them to win. They still are, I think, if getting Kyle Lowry, getting some solidification back on that. But I tell you what, there's no way, shape, or form that they're going to win this series if Jason Tatum does not step up. Period.
Yeah. And I think Robert Williams was very much needed in that game too. He's their only rim protector. So as good as their defense is, they're missing that element of it.
But they only barely lost, and Jason Tatum played, and they had 22 turnovers. So if they just take care of that aspect alone, you cannot give up those type of possessions and expect to win the game. I mean, that's a lot of possessions that you're having, but it shows just the effectiveness of their own defense, so to speak. I mean, especially if they're turning those turnovers into points and still to only lose by the way that 6 points. and still lose. But I think that's phenomenal in itself. But nonetheless, they're going to play again tonight, and we're going to see how it goes down on ABC at 8:30 Eastern tonight. We got to take a break, and we'll finish off the segment talking a little bit about the softball team. Oh, no. We wish them well, but we'll come back right after this on the block, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Work, laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it, a research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and booked that vacation. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
Hey, batter, 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 wings, splatter, splatter, splatter. Catch all this season's baseball action at one of your neighborhood Lincoln locations. Get League of Their Own wings, burgers, nachos, and ringers while catching all the action. Stop into Wings and Rings located on O Street in Meridian Park and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village. Or place your order online at wingsandrings.com. That's wingsandrings.com, Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Tune in every Monday morning throughout the summer at 6:45 a.m. for golf course reviews on the Nebraska Golf Passport Early Break Golf Tour with Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Spring is here. Are you giving your yard the best chance at being healthy and green? Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn to get your sprinklers ready to go for the season if they haven't been working properly. They're also scheduling installs for new sprinkler systems if you don't have one. So make sure you contact them early to get a bid as soon as possible. Plus, they're your one place to go for 5-step fertilizer and pesticide application and lawn aeration. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up things here on the block on 93.7 The Ticket on a Monday. Of course, that means we've got a great night of Ticket Weeknights coming up. The first one, of course, of Ticket Weeknights will be Nicole Griffith jumping in here, Talking Tins and the Deep End to follow her on Ticket Weeknights tonight. So very excited about that. But before we hand it off, let's go ahead and wrap up our own segment here as we talk about some of the things going on with, well, Husker football in general. I know there's some interest on Marcus Washington, who is, I don't know if he's officially committed to Nebraska yet, but there's some rumors out there that he will. The Texas wide receiver from, obviously from Texas, former wide receiver with Casey Thompson there with the Longhorns. I was trying to run it down and see if they've got anything official yet. I think I haven't seen it, and so we'll still be kind of looking at that throughout the end of the show. Strick, what have you seen him? Kind of his tape there. Do you think that he would be? Some people are kind of thinking, well, that's not necessarily a need, but in my mind, you don't necessarily have like the ringleader of the group. So he's another guy that could come in and be the ringleader.
Yeah, compete because listen, let's be honest, right? Devontae Adams had great chemistry with up in Green Bay.
Yeah, with Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Gosh darn it, man. Today is just maybe I need to get a drink. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams had that. But listen, he goes back to Derek Carr. There's something about chemistry, man, that when you have somebody that you're connected to, I mean, me to Clester, Kenny Pickett, to Jordan Addison. I mean, when you have chemistry with a guy and you know kind of their moves and how they react and what they're looking for, how they're thinking, you never know how that connection can happen, right? Because you got to come in and try to find that next connection. So that can give you a leg up. And I think that's an important thing to a quarterback.
Yeah, and we'll see. I don't think it's quite official. There's a lot of people just kind of scrambling to try to see if it's happening or not. But there's a lot of smoke around it. So usually when there's smoke, there's a fire there. Hopefully that will be the case. So we'll kind of see and follow that. Of course, like we mentioned before the break, we did want to give a tip of the cap to the Husker softball team. I thought they were playing with house money once you win the Big Ten tournament. You've had a successful year. They certainly did. We're proud of them, obviously champions. But things didn't go quite as planned at regionals. They beat North Texas to start the thing off. And so we're on the winner's bracket, but then Oklahoma State, formidable opponent, not blown out or anything there, just kind of had a throwing error that might have cost them, and were never able to kind of rebound from that. So they dropped that game, and then the next game to the Mean Green. So ultimately the Huskers softball season is over, but it's a fun ride, and it was kind of fun to follow along as we've got like Nate in here, people that are close to the softball team. So for me, at least, it was the first time I've even been to Bowling Stadium and seen a game. And it was something I wanted to cross off my bucket list for quite some time. And they had the sort of season to get me out there. So just once again, congratulations to them. A couple other news storylines I wanted to get to before we're done here, Strick. The Cardinals have been selected for the in-season version of Hard Knocks. Will that get you to your HBO subscription? Are you interested in watching Cliff Kingsbury and his team melt down in the latter half of the season again?
I'm more interested in the quarterback situation.
Yeah, Kyler
Murray, and just how all that's going to pan out. That's probably what makes me more interested, but not necessarily the Cardinals. No.
Yeah, they've got some good veterans on there that'll make it interesting. Usually Hard Knocks doesn't necessarily look at them, but although I suppose when the in-season one, it'll be a little bit closer of a look on them. But yeah, the Kyler Murray situation alone will kind of draw eyes there. For what it's worth, Keon Edwards, former Nebraska basketball player, found his landing spot with Milwaukee. So good for him. Also, a 30 for 30 has been announced upcoming for the 2001 Baltimore Ravens team. Of course, that was one of the best defensive of all time. Ray Lewis kind of leading the charge there. And I have to go back and look at their defensive, like every defensive guy on that team was like Marvin Lewis. They had some guys that went on to be head coaches, or even the current defensive coordinator for Arizona State. Every one of those guys has gone on to do quite well. So, sometimes we forget about the player. Tony Saragusa's plenty of fun and did quite well. But sometimes you forget the coaching behind it. Usually when you see somebody that's just that dominating or ahead of the era, you look back years later, like, man, the coaches in charge there, quite a laundry list. And of course, those guys move up in the profession in part because you're on one of the best defenses ever. I think they had like 4 shutouts. They only gave up like 10 points per game in the NFL. Just a great defense, and kind of a cool story. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, well, you listen, just however it's going to pan out, I'm looking forward to actually just the whole NFL season just to how they're gonna bounce back, especially the shift out there west, with Denver and Vegas and the Chargers, and just how all that's going to happen out there, the competition levels, and even with Cincinnati, how they're going to do in their rebound season.
Yeah, there's a lot to. Usually you'll see a team from the Super Bowl not have quite the same year the next year. Cincinnati would probably be the favorites to do that. Though the Rams did put a lot of their chips into winning last year. So we'll see if they can kind of keep that going too. Interesting, as always, the NFL, never not interesting. So we could always hit on that a little bit. That'll wrap it up for our show today, though, on the block. Once again, Nicole Griffith coming up with her show on Ticket Weeknights. Talking Tens in the deep end will follow that. So plenty of good stuff. Stay tuned to the Ticket throughout the night for that. For myself and Strick, though, we'll be back tomorrow on the block. Thanks for having a great Monday with us. Have a great weeknight.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air